Apostleship Jesus 6 Anger of Jesus against the merchants of the temple. JN 2. Faced with the merchants of the temple, did Jesus get angry? And so, did he sin? He who said in a command, "Whoever gets angry with his brother is liable to the court." So first, let's remember the scene. It is told at the beginning of the Gospel according to St. John, while in the other Gospels it is rather towards the end of his apostolic life. So in this chapter 2 of St. John, Jesus enters the courtyard of the temple and finds the merchants who are there, spread out, to sell their goods. They actually sell animals for sacrifices and they exchange money. He is then taken with great anger because these people are not in the city, they are inside the courtyard of the sanctuary. He takes a whip and starts chasing them. He overturns the tables of the merchants. He does not strike the merchants, if we follow the text, but they run away from this great wrath, and he says to them, "Do not make of my Father's house a house of thieves." St. John at that time comments, saying, "The zeal of your house will burn me." This refers to that spirituality that was seen in Elijah the prophet of the Old Testament, who also did not support these abuses. The question that arises is then he yielded to his anger, so he would have sinned? Well, the answer is no, because you have to understand that there are two kinds of anger. There is the anger that precedes our intelligence. For example, when a child is absolutely unbearable, he does not stop disobeying, and a slap from his mother. Well, she was outpaced by her nervousness and she regrets it. Obviously, she has made an act of weakness here. But there is a second form of anger that can come from this mom. The child has been warned. The mother is perfectly in control of herself. He exceeds the norm, so voluntarily, by choice, and for his good, to educate him, she gives him a spanking. We know that in the debates on spanking, some have identified these two ways of spanking and even a third that is related to cruelty and sadism, which is still quite another thing and which is punishable by law. And in fact we see that in the three ways to get angry, there is not the same intention. In the first, therefore to destroy, that which I have not mentioned, or quickly, it is a bad intention. In the second, because one is preceded by his anger, it is weakness. In the third, it is to educate, to save his child from this fault he makes, and to become an adult. It comes from love, it comes from the intelligence that orders an act adapted for the other to grow. Well, that's the way that Christ voluntarily got angry that day. Similarly, the manner in which John Paul II, after the attacks that killed Judge Falcone, by the Italian mafia, he had traveled to Palermo and had, in a great anger, said, "Attention, hell exists, convert, convert." Pope Francis took up these words in 2015. Well, this way of speaking, it is not a sin at all, quite the contrary. It comes from holiness. It is necessary because otherwise the prophet or the educator who does not do that, will be guilty of the fall of his child, or the fall of the soul that will go to hell.